Whoa, 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 what is happening here? We're in A3 with Derek G? What has happened? And the peloton is... Ay, 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 ay. 3 minutes ahead? It is time for the third week of our Giro d'Italia playthrough on PCM. Last time we took on the second week of this race with Netcompany Ineos with the goal of getting Arendsman from 6th place onto the podium of GC. And I also wanted to win a stage with Egan Bernal from the breakaway. And spoilers, both our objectives were successful. Getting that stage win with Bernal on stage 11 and having Tijmen Arendsman on the podium after 14 days. Anyway, our mission at Ineos is basically complete, so it's time to change teams for the third week to Lidl-Trek. And last episode I said that my goal with Trek would be a podium in GC, but we've got a pretty bad situation on our hands because Derek G is in 9th place, 3 minutes away from the podium. But while it's gonna be challenging, I think it's possible. For example, Damiano Caruso in 2nd place, Afonso Elalio in 4th place, and Marc Soler in 8th place are 3 riders that got into their position by going in the breakaway. And stats-wise, they're not the best climbers in the world, so on the big mountain stages in week 3, I should be able to pass them. Now, secondly, I want to try and get Jonathan Milan back in the Ciclamino jersey, taking it away from Ben Turner, who I put in that jersey to begin with. And lastly, I want to try and secure the KOM jersey, which is already on the shoulders of Ciccone, so that should be easy. Either way, we've got a lot on our plate. Starting off with a flat stage in Milan with Jonathan Milan as the favorite, so we have to win this. Looks like we have some rainy conditions on stage 15 of the Giro, but wait a second, we only have 6 riders left. Consoni's gone, so he must have abandoned. And of course, Consoni was my final lead-out, so a pretty big blow for these sprint stages. Then again, I'm looking at the stats of Jonathan Milan with 86 sprint stat today, so we can't lose. Anyway, last 20 kilometers and my lead-out is on the rail. Milan, Teutenberg, Sobrero, Ciccone and Gebreigzabir, so definitely not the best lead-out I've ever seen. And of course, I want to keep Derek G safe, so let's get him in the wheel of Jonas Vingegaard for this final. In the last 3 kilometers, not exactly looking perfect right now. We're losing the lead-out game. Sobrero needs to get past Ciccone right now. Come on, start to sprint after this corner, to be honest, and Teutenberg can almost do the same. Let's do it. Milan in the wheel, trying to get through, buddy, at the last kilometer. We're blocking ourselves in, but now it's time for Milan to come out. Come on, Milan! Don't get blocked, Milan! Come on! Find a way through! Ay, 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 ay! He was literally stuck behind everybody! I cannot believe we lost a sprint with Jonathan Milan, 86 sprint! And of course that means we don't look good at all when it comes to the green jersey, in 4th place now. Anyway, sprinting to the side, it's time for a short mountain stage, 112 kilometers finishing on the Kari climb. We've got Derek G as 6th favorite, but I'm simply hoping to move up in GC. And I reckon we're gonna try this one from the peloton. Gotta say, Jonathan Milan with a +2 on the day, 76 hills, that makes me want to put him in the breakaway to try and survive these hills to get to the intermediate sprint, but he's a bit far back in the peloton to do that. But there we go, Teutenberg launching Milan into the breakaway. Let's hope this works. Okay, the breakaway has formed, 22 riders, and we are in it with a 2-minute 30 gap on the peloton, so that's nice, but now the important part is trying to survive these climbs with Milan, otherwise we can't get to that sprint in the first place. It's quite ironic that Milan will have to sprint for the KOM points just to stay in this group right now. Teutenberg can try and follow the wheel to get over the top as well. I don't want to attack too much either. Let's stay in the wheel and just go over the top with the group on 99 now. Perfection. Skipping forward a little bit, we're now on the final climb right now of those 4, and I'm just following people over the top in this breakaway once again. So we are surviving every single one of these climbs. So next up is the intermediate sprint, and I think 12 free points. I don't think I need this lead out by Teutenberg, but I'm doing it for the show. Let's go with Milan. Let's start the sprint here and take the points for free. Let's go. We're now back in 2nd place in the green jersey, about 27 points behind, so we're closer. And to be honest, this breakaway still has 4 minutes 30 on the peloton right now with an intermediate sprint at the foot of the final climb, so I think I can get there and take those points as well. In real life, that's a bonus second sprint, but in game, that's an actual intermediate sprint, so 12 points available again. There we go, the breakaway has made it to that intermediate sprint. I'm sprinting all out for no reason because no one else is going for it, but I'll accept those 12 points happily. There we go. But in the peloton, starting the final climb, 10 kilometers, 8%, the Kari climb, Derek G is already half yellow. How is that possible? He spent so much yellow in the run-up to this climb. And I'm literally having to go 87 right now with 7 kilometers to go just to follow the tempo of Visma Lease bike. So this is crazy. It's now literally Jonas Vingegaard pacing in this favorites group, and I'm dropping off the back pretty soon. I don't like this energy shell on Derek G. Ciccone can now take over, and the tempo drops. The tempo drops, I like it. That's an attack by who? Harper on the right side of the road. Don't know where he is in GC. I'll put myself on 65 and play this as defensively as possible because it's all about surviving here. That's an attack by Jonas Vingegaard. We've got Arensman in the wheel. Harper has been caught. We don't have energy at all. We don't have energy at all. I have to go like 67 right now. Come on, Derek. 67, 68 into the final kilometer with Ciccone protecting you. Let's try and get towards Arensman right now, who is just ahead of me, and I think I can catch him by the line. Let's go 80 right now, 85. Let's try and catch him with a bit of a burst to the finish line. There we go. We finish 8th on the stage, which is not exactly fantastic, but we are ahead of a ton of GC riders though. So I think we might actually move up in GC. Ooh, Derek G moves up 2 positions in GC from 9th to 7th, surpassing, I think, O'Connor and Soler, but quite a few riders still ahead of us. Christian Scaroni actually moving up to 6th position in GC, I think through the breakaway, but him, Eulalia and Caruso should on paper drop out of GC pretty soon on the bigger mountain stages. So I think we're virtually 4th in GC, so it's all about beating Jai Hindley or Arensman, but Arensman has like 3 minutes, so that's gonna be tough. But now it's time for stage 17, a punchy finish and I think a breakaway victory, so let's try and put Ciccone in there. Like sure, I'm sending Teutenberg and Ciccone into the breakaway, but a -1 on the day for Ciccone is not exactly what I was hoping for, although it's not hitting his hill stats, so that's good. Wait a second, Ben Turner is off the back and looks like he's out of red bar right now, so I'm putting Milan at the front on 99. I'm gonna try and hammer the tempo to try and get Mr. Ben Turner out of yellow bar as well, so that we can OTL him maybe. In the process of doing that, Ciccone and Teutenberg have been caught by the Jonathan Milan train in the peloton, but it's all about beating Ben Turner now, so I don't mind this. Ben Turner looks done for. That said, on the first climb, I'm joining the breakaway again with Ciccone, and Mr. Milan is now trying to survive in the peloton, which that's going to be a challenge on these climbs, but it's important if we want to damage Mr. Turner, who is almost at a standstill on these climbs. Over the top of the climb with Ciccone, taking the KOM points. To be honest, on the second climb, going for the KOM points with Ciccone once again, but the gap to the peloton is only 2 minutes 30 and Visma is controlling that breakaway, so I don't think the breakaway is going to win the stage, to the point that I think I might drop Ciccone back to the peloton after this climb. But now the final kilometer to the top, let's go with Ciccone for the KOM points all out into this downhill, into the uphill. Come on, boy. And I think we'll get it over Leknesund. Yes, indeed. Now 36 points on Van Eetveld in that classification. And like I said, I'm dropping Mr. Ciccone back to the peloton because I don't believe in this breakaway. Let's try to sprint in the peloton with Milan to take the 4th place at this intermediate sprint and take some extra points, because why not? Turner is not here anyway. There we go, 3 points. Now on just 10 points of Turner, so we're closing in. And about Turner, he's now on 16 minutes of the peloton together with Teutenberg, so I don't really see him OTLing this stage, so my strategy there didn't really work out. Now on to the second last climb, the Andalo Lever, 7.5 kilometers, 4%, so not the craziest climb in the world, and this one is all about surviving in the peloton. Ciccone is doing a fantastic job keeping ourselves to the front, but what if I can get Derek G to the front to take some bonus seconds? That is super wasteful with my energy, but it's 3 seconds, so I will take it. Now G can get back in the wheel of Sobrero and try and recover some energy. Actually, there's no downhill yet, so we have to get to the top first. Oh, I was about to say the peloton's down to 30 riders, but there's a split in the peloton here, and we are in the front group with Sobrero and G, so I'm gonna push it, and in the group is Buitrago, Ganna, and Adam Yates. 99 is too much on Mr. Sobrero, so let's drop it down to 90 right here, and the climb is about to begin, so I will switch to Derek G on 90, and I'll protect him right now with Mr. Sobrero. That's my strategy. Come on, boys, we've got 30-40 seconds on the peloton, so let's bring this home. In the last 1.5 kilometers, I don't care about the stage win. I'm simply gonna pace until the finish right now, and we might still get the stage win, to be honest. Actually, Buitrago's coming closer. We get the stage win with Derek G, but behind us, O'Connor fails to bridge. That's 40 seconds and a minute to the group of the GC riders. What just happened? All because of a tiny gap in the last descent. By the way, a small update on Ben Turner. He finished in the time limit on 36 minutes, and Teutenberg was actually the last rider on the road, so oopsie. But that is not important because Derek G. West is the winner of stage 17 of the Giro d'Italia, taking a minute on other GC riders, so I love this. And of course, we move from 7th place to 5th in GC, so slowly closing in to our podium goal. And it looks like our victims were the guys we expected. Scaroni and Olalio dropping out of GC. Caruso is still there, but less than a minute, and Jai Hindley is only 23 seconds ahead now, so the podium is within reach. And despite being classified as a hill stage, I think Jonathan Milan has a solid chance to win stage 18, so let's try to do so. At the start of the stage, it was a pretty ferocious battle for the breakaway, but there's only 4 riders up front, so this is definitely not going to be a breakaway victory. And in the peloton, we've got a bridge, but behind the bridge, we have Lotto, Visma, and Quickstep controlling for their sprinters, I guess. Arnaud Delis, Paul Magnier, and famous sprinter Jonas Vingegaard in the last 40 kilometers now, and the final climb is actually quite steep, so positioning into it will be important, and hopefully Milan can recover over the top, but I've got my lead out already ready with 40 kilometers to go, which is kind of early, but I think it's important. The last thing I want is being caught behind a split, you know? That steep climb is about to begin on this right turn, the Muro di Cadalpoggio, and we go onto it. Gebrek Zabir on 99, we gotta keep ourselves in a perfect position. 1k to the top, and Milan is in the wheel. I might actually launch it a little bit, but that is definitely gonna hurt Milan. I'm gonna launch with Ciccone as well. What if I can get away with the GC riders instead? That's also a potential option, and Ciccone is actually hurting Mr. G West right now, so let's drop it down to 99 to make sure G can follow, and that is not working. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Fix this. Fix this. Ay, ay, ay. What is happening? The peloton's in pieces, and Milan is trying to close our attack, which he probably should not do either. Gebrek Zabir is trying to follow this train of 4 riders here. Ay, ay, ay. Ciccone needs to wait, right? I think I need to wait with Ciccone on the next group here, and then relay on 99 in the group with Sobrero and Ciccone. I think that's an option. Meanwhile, in the peloton, I'll put Milan in the wheel of Narvaez, and we have a gap of 40 seconds, so are we gaining time again? I think it's very possible. Last 2.6 kilometers, gap is closing a little bit. Come on, boys. Ciccone about to sprint right now after Sobrero is done for. Right now, G is ready as well, so he can launch too. Come on, come on, come on. Right now, Sobrero can stop sprinting to make sure he doesn't close the gap. I probably should have sprinted for Ciclamino points, but another stage win by Derek G. West. And actually, more importantly, taking 34 seconds on Ben O'Connor and Jai Hindley, which means I might be 4th in GC. Yes, indeed, surpassing Jai Hindley, now 21 seconds ahead of him, and we're roughly 3 seconds off the podium after stage 18. Now, I forgot to take a look at the Ciclamino classification, and we're 4th again, so we've dropped 2 places. Paul Magnier is now leading this classification by 8 points on Milan, so it's gonna come down to the final sprint stage, I think. Which, of course, we have to win with Jonathan Milan. But, more importantly, I've already said it, we're on the cusp of greatness, on the verge of the podium right now, 3 seconds behind Caruso, who should on paper fall apart in the next 2 mountain stages, but I'm still scared of Jai Hindley, you know? Especially with a monster stage like this one on the menu, so many climbs, and the third last one is a hard one. The Passo Giao with the Falzarego afterwards, and an easier climb to the finish. And of course, our main objective is getting Derek G that podium position after this stage, but I might send Giulio Ciccone in the breakaway as a defensive satellite rider and also pick up some KOM points. So, step 1 is launching into the breakaway with Teutenberg and Ciccone. Let's go. And it looks like we've got ourselves a massive breakaway, 20 riders in group 1 and 10 riders in the second group, so in total 30 riders in the breakaway. Ah, puncture by Ciccone in the breakaway. That is a bummer, but I'm in the second group, so it's okay. And the 2 breakaways have come back together, so Ciccone is once again in the first group. By the way, in the peloton, I want to talk about Derek G. West with a +2 on the day, so fantastic form with 81 mountain stat. The perfect day for it. Anyway, the break is starting the first climb of the day, the Passo Duran, 12 kilometers, 8% with 40 points for KOM at the top, so we gotta get those. Last 2 kilometers, I'm scared of Van Eetveld because he is second in that classification, so if he goes, we need to respond. 1.4 kilometers to the top, let's wait, and now we've got a move by Afonso Elalio, not exactly apparently, because I can't follow him, which is annoying. Can I follow Van Eetveld right now into the last kilometer here? Yes, I can, and I'll sprint past him already. Let's do that. All out sprint past him. Come on, Ciccone, beat Van Eetveld. We go past, we have the energy, and we take the full 40 points, so let's go. We are 59 points ahead now. By the way, the peloton is crossing that top 10 minutes behind the breakaway, so the break is definitely winning today. Anyway, on to the second climb now. Koi, 6 kilometers, 9.2%, but it's a second cat climb, so only 18 points. Last 1.1 kilometers, the sprint for KOM is about to begin. I'm pretty sure actually no one's doing it, so I might as well do it myself from the front of the group, and I'm just simply riding away. So that is a free 18 points on top here. And to be honest, I might skip the sprint on the next climb to make sure I've got the energy for the HC climb, which is the Passo João. That has 50 points. Whoa, 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 what is happening here? We're in A3 with Derek G. What has happened? And the peloton is... Ay, 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 ay. 3 minutes ahead? Gebrek Zabir buddy, pace 87 to the top. We gotta find our way back 3 minutes to the peloton. This is a disaster.
12 seconds later.
Oh my god, Gebrek Zabir, you're a hero. This is the Maglia Rosa group? We are back already? That's crazy! I'll be completely honest, I thought my race was over there. But actually, this breakaway has 13 minutes on the peloton, and I think Eulalia is present here. Yes, indeed. So he's the closest rider in GC on 12 minutes 36, and I'm about a minute behind him with Ciccone, so I could actually compete for GC with Ciccone after this stage. What a crazy stage so far. But of course, this climb, the Passo João, 10 kilometers 9%, is the biggest of the day. So Ciccone, you gotta find a way to drop some people in this breakaway because this is the one where you can do some damage. The break is slowly but surely falling apart, 3 kilometers to the top, and Ciccone is still in the front group of 3 riders right now with Kus and Adam Yates. So not exactly the easiest competition, but I have some yellow bar left, so I reckon I can do this. Last 2 kilometers to the top, I'm gonna go towards 90. That's overkill, that's overkill. I gotta drop that again, Let's stay in the wheel here because I need to make sure I make it to the top. Last 800 meters, and there goes Adam Yates. Can I follow his wheel? I don't have the yellow bar. They've got more energy than me, so I'm getting dropped just before the top, but they don't have much more energy than me, so maybe I can return in the downhill. Meanwhile, Ciccone is back in the breakaway with Adam Yates and Sepp Kuss, so that is nice, but my yellow bar is not looking that fantastic. Then again, this climb is not the hardest either, so I might survive. Oh my god, Ciccone just punctured out of the breakaway? Really? On the second last climb? That is so stupid! Ay, 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 ay. I'll just pace myself. I'll simply pace myself to the top, about to cross the top of this second last climb with Ciccone out of energy now, so that's a bit of a bummer, and a minute 18 behind the front of the race, so that puncture was the death of my chances for the stage win. Anyway, in the last 8.7 kilometers now with Ciccone, we are 1 minute behind the front of the race. I'll simply pace 75 right now to the foot of the final climb. And now the final climb is starting. It's only 5 kilometers, so I can do my energy gel from the bottom. Come on, Ciccone. I don't think I'll make it back to Kuss and Yates, because, well, they've got 50 seconds, 45 seconds. Actually, I'm getting closer a little bit. Let's go 86, 87. Come on, Ciccone. But at the front, Sepp Kuss has dropped Adam Yates, and the gap to Ciccone is going up again. So I don't think we're winning the stage. We're taking a boatload of time in GC, though. The winner on Piani di Pezze is Sepp Kuss ahead of Adam Yates, and we are finishing not too far behind right now, but completely out of energy into this final kilometer with a beautiful stage by Giulio Ciccone. But now the peloton is also starting the final climb with Derek G in a good position, and we are gonna use our energy gel because I want to attack. Oh, looks like O'Connor is doing it first, but I'm gonna try and go 89. Come on, we gotta follow the tempo of Jonas Vingegaard in this group. Jonas has caught O'Connor with 3 kilometers to go. I'm going 88. I'm trying to get a gap on Arensman right here, but I don't really see that working too much. Come on, G. 1.7, 1.6. I'm just gonna go all out right now. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. There goes the attack. We got a small gap. We go 99 as long as possible. We don't have a gap. We do have a small gap of 4 seconds on the next group, so not exactly a fantastic gap, but I'm simply going all out with Derek G. Jonas is gonna take time, but we might be the second best GC rider at the finish here, so that is kind of welcome. I'm happy about beating Hindley though on a stage like this, because he's on paper a better climber. Storr beats us, but he's too far behind, and Teutenberg crashes all the way in Narnia, so I don't care. But I really don't know where Damiano Caruso, third in GC, finished on this stage, plus how much time Ciccone took, so let's take a look at GC. Ooh! Oh my god! Giulio Ciccone is second in the GC of the Giro d'Italia. Derek G in 5th place, so we surpassed ourselves, which is not great, but Ciccone, man, that's crazy! And of course, a massive gap in the KOM standings, so that jersey is basically secure for Ciccone. But if we look closely at our GC now with Ciccone, then we've got 5 minutes on 4th place, so our podium is secure. But not with Derek G, with Ciccone. Gotta say, that's a surprising plot twist. If anything, the fact that Derek G is now 15 GC on 8 minutes makes me wonder whether he's far enough to maybe go in the breakaway the next day. On to stage 20 then, the final mountain stage of this race with 2 times Piancavallo, a pretty hard climb actually, and Jonas Vingegaard, of course, as the favorite. Like, I'm pretty sure Ciccone's podium is basically secure by 5 minutes, but I still somewhat need to protect it. Outside of that, Derek G is kind of my man here because I'll try to go in the breakaway, but I'm not sure it's gonna be possible. Okay, it's time to begin. Gebrek Zabir, get to the front, buddy. Let's try and get Derek G in the breakaway. Let's go. Bernal and Sofov joining as well, but are they chasing my man? No, we're allowed to go in the breakaway? Really? Gotta say, I did not expect that. Oh, and 19 riders up the road, but the gap is being held at 1 minute and 9 seconds by multiple teams though, so I don't think this breakaway with G West is going anywhere too colorful, I'm afraid. And actually, before we even get to the first Piancavallo, the breakaway is caught, so Derek G is back in the peloton without spending too much energy, which is good. But now the peloton is starting the first Piancavallo, 15 kilometers, 7.7%, and I think I want to do something here because Ciccone and Derek G both have 81 mountain on the day. And I want to get rid of all these Visma domestiques, so I want to attack with Derek G to isolate Mr. Jonas Vingegaard on this climb to try and win the Giro instead of coming second. Actually, I just attacked with G and Visma doesn't even care. That was not in my expectations for the stage, but I'm kind of okay with it. But a few kilometers later, Picnic is starting to pace, but the gap to G is 1 minute 30 now. I'm overpacing a little bit though, so let's drop that down to 77 together with Chris Harper. And of course, in the peloton, it's all about keeping Ciccone in a safe position and being protected by Gebrek Zabir. That is looking pretty good. The peloton is down to 49 riders, so we're indirectly doing damage in this group by having attacked with G. In the last 2 kilometers, and Chris Harper is being dropped by Derek G, which is sad because I kind of wanted him to help me in the valley after this climb. Let's spend all our energy then to the top 85 and let's recover in the downhill. Now this right here is the problem with our strategy of Derek G West. He's now alone in a valley of 10-15 kilometers and I have to pace like 65. To be honest, this is going nowhere, so I think I might be better off dropping back to the peloton. That was a waste of energy and time. I think the one thing we can try on this final climb is to somehow make Visma Leasebike use Kus as a domestique to find a way to drop him out of the top 5 in GC, but we're talking about 6 minutes then, so that's not going to be easy. But it's the only way for G to potentially end up on the podium too. The climb has begun, same gradients as last time, 15 kilometers, 7.7%, then I gotta say the tempo on this climb by Visma Leasebike is quite extensive, so they might be forcing themselves to use Sepka soon. The group is down to 25 riders already after like 2 kilometers of climbing, so instant damage. Ciccone is trying to survive at the back of the group and G is in his wheel. Campenarts is done for, so now we have Butrago and Kelderman pacing at the front. 20 riders left in the group, so the damage keeps on happening. Domestiques are dropping, and that is Sepkus now pacing at the front, so that is pretty great right now. I've got Derek G and Ciccone in the last 5 kilometers. If I use Ciccone as a domestique for G, I don't think I'll do that, but it was maybe a way for... Sepkus is done for though, so I think I might actually do that. I'll go to the front and start pacing with Ciccone for Derek G in the last 4 kilometers to try and make Mr. Sepkus lose 5 minutes in 4 kilometers. I don't think that's happening. If anything, I might be better off just attacking with Derek G in these last 3 kilometers and pacing 85 myself while sitting up with Ciccone in the group behind, because that way he can maybe save some energy. G has the energy to make this happen, so maybe I can win the stage with G. Come on, Derek, last 2 kilometers, keep it up, buddy. Let's drop the tempo to 76, something like, nah. 85, last kilometer, we can do this. We've got 2 minutes on Kus, so the podium is not happening, but the stage win is happening for Derek G. In the meanwhile, I'll drop back to Mr. Ciccone right now, because he can actually also just go all out and go ham in the last kilometer, because we're dominating this race for some reason. Derek G is about to cross the finish line. Let's go! Wins on Piancavallo, takes a 3rd stage win in the last week, and Ciccone is also gonna be taking time on Jonas Vingegaard? Really? That's kind of a surprise, to be honest, but it's not that much time. Meanwhile, Sepkus finishes on 3 minutes and 30 seconds, so he will keep his podium spot, sadly. That's a pretty fantastic stage win for Derek G West, and to be honest, if there was one more mountain stage, we'd be on the podium with 2 riders. We're now in 2nd place in GC with Ciccone and still in 5th place with Derek G. West, so no real changes in GC after this stage though, but we started in 9th place with Derek G and maybe 16th with Ciccone, so we definitely improved the situation at Lidl-Trek in the final week. But while I'm happy about our achievements so far, there's one thing we need to look into still, because the final stage is a sprint stage and we are 4th in Ciclamino, so we have to win the final sprint with Milan. And well, I should be winning the sprint because Jonathan Milan is by far the favorite in these sprints. But yeah, we saw how that went last time. Once again, starting off this sprint stage with 86 sprint stat on Jonathan Milan. If I lose this, you can ridicule me in the comments. I am so gonna regret saying that. In the last 7.5 kilometers of this stage, and Gebrek Zabir is done for, so Ciccone can take over. Come on, train, let's do this. Oh, I have to launch with Sobrero, but I'm not loving our position right now. Teutenberg can launch as well. Come on, Milan. Come on, Milan. 1.3 kilometers to go. You can launch early for all I care. We gotta try and find a way through. Come on, Milan. Find your way through. We're gonna lose a sprint again. Oh yeah, he's gonna lose to his lead out, Teutenberg, but I gotta confess, this one's on me. I bottled that sprint. Ay, 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 that is shameful. Let us simply pretend that stage did not happen. Jonas Vingegaard is the winner of the Giro d'Italia 2026 ahead of Giulio Ciccone, Sepp Kuss, Tijmen Arensman, and Derek G. West. What a top 5. We also take home the KOM jersey with Giulio Ciccone dominantly, but we massively failed the Ciclamino classification, coming just 5th with Milan. But hey, after winning a stage with Groenewegen in week 1 for the Rockets and then putting Arensman onto the podium for Netcompany Ineos, now also having Ciccone on the podium for Lidl-Trek, I feel like our Giro was a massive success. But that does bring us to the end of this video and this Giro series, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon for the next video. Goodbye!